if he had an untimely demise. And this wasn't just talk either. Shortly after Nipsey's death, many celebrities came to the aid of Nipsey's family by setting up a GoFundMe page and encouraging their followers to donate money toward the family, especially the kids. This kind gesture was respectfully turned down by the family. Wow, very nice. Oh my God. If they didn't mind their business, boy, they took care of it. He did everything he stated that he was going to do within his music. You really gotta, take care of that, and you gotta understand this message that he left. He's telling you guys to go out there and get your life insurance and policies intact. This also helps you with law enforcement if they so happen to injure or kill, or unalive, I should say, that's a new word, unalive your family members. If you got a life insurance policy in effect, that life insurance policy will be paid off. And if everybody is doing that, eventually the life insurance company will put laws down that will hold those accountable for harming your family member, your loved one. Shortly after Nipsey's death, many celebrities came to the aid of Nipsey's family by setting up a GoFundMe page and encouraging their followers to donate money towards the family, especially the kids. This kind gesture was respectfully turned down by the family because Nipsey really had life insurance on his flesh and trust accounts where he deposited racks. When most people heard of the words will, trust, or estate planning, they automatically think that these are things reserved for millionaires and billionaires. This could be nothing further from the truth. Repeat, this couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. Regardless of how much money you have, you must have a plan for what will happen to your assets and who should receive the things you own after you leave this earth. An estate plan can be something as simple as having life insurance for your family and naming a beneficiary for your retirement accounts, or as complicated as having several trusts for different purposes in addition to your will. Regardless of what direction you decide to go, it is important that you put a transition plan in place to maintain the continuity of your family business that outlives you. Estate planning is more than just having a will. It is a plan that is put in place in order to lessen the financial impact of your death of your loved ones that you leave behind and allows them to grieve faithfully, hopefully, and with less pain. At a minimum, estate planning is for the benefit and care of your loved ones, making the legal and financial issues easier to deal with if you pass away. But it is also a tool to transfer wealth and maintain your family legacy. Repeat. It is also a tool to transfer wealth and maintain your family legacy. Every competent adult should have a succession plan, aka estate plan, especially if you have children. Of course, Nipsey left you a quote. Quote, open trust account, deposit racks. End quote, Nipsey Hussle. Now, this is also, this is my opinion, Alonda Louis Kyriacou, that do this as soon as there is a birth of a child in the family. If you do this as soon as a child is born, the amount of money that this compounds in interest and it grows by the time this child is 18, 21, or 25, whichever one you set, this gives your family a financial leg to stand on. And if anything should happen. You know, if this child decides not to go to college, or this child want to open up a business, or whatever the goals of this child is, it can be done. Okay? And it will not cost you. And as you see, interest rates are rising, food prices is going up. And so you have to be more calculated in what you're doing as we're having families and as we are aging. Okay, so hopefully we allow ourselves to age gracefully and that we are not constantly in a state of stress. We need to get out of that stress rat wheel. Okay? We need to just get out of it. It's not working for us. Ermiasism number 25. Take calculated risks to grow your wealth. Quote, keep my eye on this game and let the money invest, end quote. And he talking about reinvestment and compound interest. Nipsey Hussle. No one has ever achieved anything great by playing it safe. Repeat. No one has ever achieved anything great by playing it safe. Repeat. No one has ever achieved anything great by playing it safe. In life, it takes taking risks to be wealthy. Nipsey showed us firsthand that he was willing to invest in himself, from selling everything that he owned to invest in his music equipment, to being willing to jump into uncharted waters to make his dream come true. That investment in yourself may not always pay off immediately, but rest assured, if you never give up, it will pay you tenfold. The goal, though, is not to take stupid risks, but to take calculated risks. This means that you do your due diligence before you jump into anything, but nonetheless, you should take risks if you want to see your wealth grow. Below are 5 things to look out for when investing. Any investment or deal that promises big returns in a short amount of time or seems too good to be true is not true. Do not do it. Number 2, anyone who cannot verify their credentials and prove they are a legitimate business, do not go further. Stop. Beware. Do not do it. Number 3, any person or company that uses peer pressure as a way to entice you to invest, do not go further. Stop. Caution. Pay attention. Do not do. Number 4, anyone who tries to do you favors or use their charm as a way to make you feel obligated to invest, stop. Caution. Stop. Do not do. Number 5, anyone who makes the investment or deal seem like a limited time offer or a once in a time lifetime offer, stop. Do not do. Do not go further. Be cautious. Effing living basic. I'm taking risks. Nipsey Hussle. Ermiasism number 26. Always put assets over liabilities. Okay? Always put assets over liabilities. Repeat. Always put assets over liability. Quote, I rather invest in real estate, invest in some assets as opposed to trick all my money in diamonds and cars. It looks good, but at the end of the day, you're losing value. It ain't appreciating. It's depreciating. I'm trying to get it. A real asset. Take care of my people. End quote, Nipsey Hussle. From day one, Nipsey came into the game dropping jewels. In a 2006 interview with legendary hip-hop journalist Davey D at the Russell Simmons Get Your Money Summit, when asked why he was not blinging with jewelry and diamonds, he immediately gave us a lesson on the difference between an asset and a liability. To Davey D's surprise, the then up-and-coming rapper said, "You know, all of that is cool and all for the image, but all them are liabilities. I rather invest my money in assets like real estate that appreciates in value, opposing to tricking all my money on liabilities like diamonds and cars that lose their value as soon as they drive them off the lot." Priceless wisdom is why you should always put assets over liability. The more you grow your assets, the higher your net worth will be. And the higher your net worth, the more opportunities you have to create generational wealth. When Nipsey said it isn't cool to be in a club spending all of this money or having cars and jewelry, but you don't own any real estate, a fourplex, in the or a fourplex, and the answer is no, you're not a real hustler. He was saying that it's not okay to work hard for money just to throw it down the drain. Instead, if you had some assets, you can let those pay for the liabilities. That's the hustler's way. Make sure that you are always looking at ways to purchase, aka assets, things you own that increase in value. If you want to buy things, let your assets pay for them. Repeat. If you want to buy things, let your assets pay for them. Repeat. If you want to buy things, let your assets pay for them. And then he left you a powerful quote. Never stop grinding. Cherish no possessions. End quote. Nipsey Hussle. Ermiasism number 27. Always keep your stash full. Quote. Got a safe that's full of Franklin. End quote. Nipsey Hussle. The goal is being financially free as necessary so that you can live the life on your terms. But even if you have everything mapped out, you're doing everything right, and you have all the right things in place, situations can still pop up and take you in different directions. When Nipsey bragged about having a safe full of Franklin, he meant Benjamin Franklin, that is. He was saying that you should always have this stash. This stash can serve as a cushion for unexpected expenses. It makes sense to have at least 6 to 8 months of expenses in an account liquid, meaning you have direct access to it. It is possible to be asset rich but cash poor. So make sure that even though it might pain you to watch this money just sit in the account, make sure it is accessible if need be. Ermiasism number 28. It is okay to splurge responsibly. Quote, champagne while I shop. Hope I splurge foolish. I closed escrow twice this month. Both commercial units. End quote, Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey admits that when he got his first 7 figures, he went on a mild splurge. Shopping, jewelry shopping, car shopping, and visited some of the finer restaurants. If you listen closely, it may sound like a contradiction, but the reality is that it is okay to splurge responsibly. This means that as you are setting up everything else in your financial household, you should also set aside some money to spend. Not allowing yourself to spend in proportion to what you have budgeted can lead to a relapse and the feeling of self-deprivation, which can result in spending money foolishly. As long as you are taking care of everything else within your financial wheelhouse, a mild splurge and there won't shake your financial foundation. You don't let the material things define you. Repeat. As long as you are taking care of everything else within your financial wheelhouse, a smile splurge, and it won't shake up your financial foundation, you can splurge. Quote, material things ain't nothing. You feel me? At the end of the day, it is who you is. End quote. Nipsey Hussle. Ermiasism 29. Stay ahead of the game. Innovate. Okay? Nipsey was always a step ahead of the game, and when he felt he wasn't, he picked up the books, attended the conferences, and found the people that can help increase his knowledge. He believes that the time that we were living in his incredible time. Repeat, he believes that the time that we're living in is an incredible time. He said, it's like a gold rush. It never been a time like this in our generation. He is specifically speaking about tech and close proximity to Silicon Valley. He continued, it is our equivalent of the gold rush with everybody moving to California. This technology has empowered everybody, and it's as big as you want to make it. And you know, it's as far as you take it. His belief was it is important to innovate and accept what technology is doing. If you fully embrace it, his prediction is that big companies are going to crumble, giants are going to fall, and new companies are going to pop out of nowhere and take over. He wanted to be a part of that new wave. This is also why he was very involved in blockchain and cryptocurrency. If you look at history, go back as far as you want, the one thing that has ever been constant is change. No one would ever think that the Roman Empire could fall, but it did. As you are building your empire, do not get so stuck on how things are that you are not willing to learn and innovate when necessary. He left another awesome quote. Quote, I just believe in ownership. I believe in investing in yourself. Your foundation should be strong. End quote, Nipsey Hussle. Ermiasism 30. Buy back the block, people. Buy back the block. Whether it's your residential block or a commercial block. Buy back the block. Quote, last time I checked, they were selling zones in the set. Make a $250,000, no sweat. End quote, Nipsey Hussle. Now, I was not aware of that they are selling zones. So, I must go down to our county building, our city hall, and get some information on that. So, like I said, knowledge is power. You get to reading, you find out stuff. Before we can discuss buying back the block, we first have to define and explain two words: gentrification and opportunity zones. Gentrification is a process of changing the character of a neighborhood through the influx or more affluent residences and businesses. An opportunity zone is an economically distressed community where new investments under certain conditions may be eligible for preferential tax treatment. Oftentimes, opportunity zone incentives are used to gentrify a neighborhood and is a common and controversial topic in politics and urban planning. So that's telling you that you need to go to your urban planning department in your city hall or in your state government or whoever holds that department. In a freestyle that serves as a tribute to Nipsey Hussle, Jay-Z eloquently explained what Nipsey was doing with the Opportunity Zone and why it is such a pivotal initiative. He said, gentrify your own hood. before these people do. Claim eminent domain and have your people moving. That's a small glimpse of what Nipsey was doing for anybody that's still confused as what he was doing. Eminent domain refers to the power of the government to take private property and convert it into public use. The Fifth Amendment provides that the government may only exercise this power if they provide just compensation to the property owners. Okay, so understand that law enforcement is there to protect property, okay? Insurance companies help make laws to protect properties, okay? So what we must do, melanated people, is to become property owners, business owners. That is what they are there to do. And then you will have more say-so in your government, whether it's city, local, state, or just national government. Okay? So let's do our work. Let's do our work. And let's get more protection on our side. All right? In this case, Jay-Z was saying that Nipsey and his partners were using this opportunity zone legislation to gentrify Crenshaw before others came in to do it. This is the first time we see this being done on a grassroots level and for the people, instead of trying to change the social economic structure of the neighborhood. Jay-Z continues, the neighborhood is designed to keep us trapped. They redline us so property declines if you live by blacks. They depress the asset and take the property back. It's a ruthless but genius plan, in fact. So now we're fighting over scraps. That was in his rap. If you remember earlier when we discussed redlining gentrification, it's such a controversial topic because it seems that after years of creating ghettos, yes, ghettos was created, gentrification aims to displace low-income residents who never had a chance or choice to begin with. Nipsey decided that he would give the hood an opportunity to own and to love where they live. Nipsey was also laying the blueprint for other celebrities, athletes, and influencers to teach them how to give back to their community and make money without having to displace those who really need it. Remember, some will follow and some won't, because he laid that same plan in his music when he did his contracts and they didn't do it, or when he did his streaming of his music and they didn't follow suit. So some will follow suit, some won't, but majority of us, we need to step up. Opportunity zones are one way you can start the process of buying back your block, but there are many others. Make sure you're exploring different ways that you can be a blessing to others. Quote, and you know he left you a good one. I own the block where I used to hustle from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. I hustle. Then I rented. Now me and David Gross will own in Crenshaw. End quote. Nipsey Hussle. Ermiasism 31. Give back to the community. And you know this. Quote, at one point I wasn't proud of my lifestyle. Now I wake up knowing that I'm doing what I'm here to do. End quote. Nipsey Hussle. The law of giving and receiving is a dynamic universal law. In order to activate receiving, you must be willing to give that which you are seeking. By being a good giver, you are allowing the abundance that the universe has for you to circulate in your life. Nipsey was blessed, so it's no shock to hear that he was a big giver. The fact that he was selfless in thinking about the place that made him who he was is a testament to his character, his integrity, and to what matters to him most. Nipsey wanted the residents of his community to have a different experience than the one he had grown up with. He had to make sure that the basketball courts were paid for the children and also offered STEM education through his technology and co-working center Vector 90. This venture was also a way to make sure that the youth in his community found jobs and they had an opportunity to thrive. We spoke about ecosystems earlier, and even though this wasn't about music, Nipsey wanted to create an ecosystem around tech. In describing Vector 90, Nipsey said, so basically, there are these different office spaces rented by entrepreneurs that are starting apps or got skincare companies or product lines. So they got investors in the building with David Gross, who's the founder and my partner, and in myself. Every year we're going to be able to do so a first round of seeding for one of our entrepreneurs. They can make a pitch and say, this is what I'm doing. This is what we need to take it to the next level. And they can have access to investments in the same building. He also said, instead of having to fly somewhere, it's right here in the Crenshaw district. The great thing about the type of giving that Nipsey and his partners were involved in is that it was a type of giving that wasn't purely philanthropic, but instead an entrepreneurial venture that gave back. This is called social entrepreneurship, which is an approach by startup companies and entrepreneurs in which they develop, fund, and implement solutions to social, cultural, and environmental issues. A win-win for everyone involved. Giving back to your community should be a part of your overall business strategy and should be done from a place of passion. You can also donate your time to many organizations who are in the dire need of fresh blood to help build the next generation. Quote, I taught all my homies how to fish. Some caught more than others. Some said they'd rather be fed. Some passed me up in the process. But at the end of it all, I know I ain't hide the game from my people, and I am real for that. End quote. Nipsey Hussle. Ermiasism number 32. Build a legacy. Quote, I am more focused on giving solutions and inspiration more than anything. End quote. Let me repeat. I am more focused on giving solutions and inspiration more than anything. End quote. Nipsey Hussle. To many, death is a scary thing because no one really knows where you'll end up when life is over. And for those who have ever lost a loved one, it can be one of the toughest things you ever have to deal with because at the moment it feels as if you have lost your loved one forever. The truth of the matter is that no one really dies if they made the dash matter when they were alive in the physical. The dash is what goes in between your date of birth and the day you transition. Nipsey Hussle made sure his dash stood for something. It was his explicit intention to uplift a generation of people who did their best to play the hand they were dealt with. Nipsey was a role model who showed us a new way to be successful. He showed us that no matter what your background is or where you started, you can at any moment decide change the trajectory of your life. He also showed us that you can aim for maximum profit in all you do while simultaneously helping your community. You don't have to wait to make an impact on someone else's life. During an interview with ABC News, Nipsey's brother Samuel Ashgun, aka Black Sam, said Nipsey was somebody that believed in the process of hard work, determination, and just the positivity of somebody staying in the area that he grew up in and making something out of nothing. Sam continued to reflect and label his brother as a role model to the community, to the kids, and to the mothers and grandmothers and the community that watched him grow up. Nipsey was serious about his community. He had many initiatives he was a part of, including Destination Crenshaw, which is a 1.3-mile open-air museum of permanent and rotating art exhibitions that is planned for Crenshaw Boulevard, along the light rail line, which at the time this book was written is currently under construction. Yay, yay. According to the council member Marquise Harris Dawson, it is meant to be a celebration of the largely African American community in South LA, and Nipsey Hussle had a significant role in birthing the project. Nipsey even inspired actress, writer, producer Issa Rae to buy property in LA. Nipsey understood the importance of leaving a legacy. Repeat. Nipsey understood the importance of leaving a legacy, and even though he was taken from us in the physical, his name will live forever. When you think about your work and all that it is you are trying to be in this world, make sure your work will have a lasting impact on the world at large. I call it dropping the rope. You got to drop the rope. Everybody got to climb up, but you got to drop the rope. End quote, Nipsey Hussle. Last Ermiasism. Ermiasism number 33. Run your race, but remember it's a marathon. If you really think about the metaphor of the marathon as in life, it's about endurance, it's about preparedness, it's about mental breaking through the barriers that tell you I can't keep going when you know you're more capable than you think you are or even conscious of, end quote, Nipsey Hussle. The marathon metaphor has been around us for a while, and the message has always been clear, but Nipsey brought the point home and made it even clearer. If you run your race and keep going despite adversity, then you will achieve all of your dreams and aspirations. We all have a purpose in our lives, but in living that purpose, we often focus on the destination that we believe our purpose will take us instead of the journey that it is meant to provide. We know what we want, and some of us want it to happen overnight. And even though we know it doesn't work like that, we still have hopes of a smooth ride. Nipsey understood that you couldn't cheat the grind. He knew that success was a mindset and a process. Despite how glamorous many online entrepreneurs make the grind look, he recognized that there are a lot of ups and downs and accepted the fact that in order to achieve long-term success, he was going to have to push past the pain of being uncomfortable. The grind came along with long hours and many instances of near surrender. But despite that, he knew that success was his as long as he never gave up. Nipsey didn't focus on immediate wealth, but instead on the type of wealth that never ended. In an interview, he stated, "We're playing the long game. We don't want the money to stop when we go. We can't work no more." Repeat, we don't want the money to stop when we are unalived. We are at our demise. We want the money to keep going. We want to leave generational wealth. We can't work no more. We want it to outlive us. We want it to be generational. This is the mindset of a marathon winner. Someone who has the big picture in mind and will make some short-term sacrifices in order to ultimately win the war. As you remember celebrate Nipsey Hussle, never forget that his actions spoke as loud as his words. He wasn't just giving us a metaphoric theory that he heard or read in books somewhere. He gave us his life, his experience, and a front row seat to how to manifest your destiny. If you can paraphrase Nipsey the Great, all he was trying to do was hustle and motivate. Choppers to a throwaway. Hustle the Hovaway. That's why we follow him. We knew he knew the way. I like that rap verse. Long live Nipsey Hussle. In the following chapters, you will be given a 12-step guide to running your own marathon. The Victory Lap action plan will take all of Nipsey's blueprints and give you a step-by-step guide to becoming a success. And he left us with a quote. Quote, I'm about seeing long term, seeing a vision, understanding nothing really worthwhile happens overnight, and just sticking to your script long enough to make sure something real happened. End quote. Nipsey Hussle. Chapter number 4 is awesome. Before we go to the study 12 steps guide.